It's great to meet you. I'm looking forward to getting into the album, to getting into to the work. So thank you again for taking a minute out today.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you.
So as we enter this new year, I want to know, 5.5 years ago, this pandemic was changing everybody's lives, especially musicians. How
Mhm.
did you get through that era, and how has it influenced either the latest album or what you're doing as a creative?
Um, Everything changed. I have idea that I want to go to US because the music that I love and jazz that I love come from this country. And my teacher was from US as well. So I did a lot of in Europe, but the things start to changing in Europe. So my goal is to changing something and to come out of my comfort zone because I'm afraid of flying. So I tell to myself now you're going to fly because this is the only way to get through the ocean. So I came and the rest is history. And this was the biggest things that I did in my life for me.
So let's get into Blessed and Bewitched. Talk to me a little bit about this album. What was kind of the vision for it? How does it feel?
It was amazing. The vision, I met the Adrian Varady. We are in Jam Music Lab University where we both teaching. So I met him and he was showing me some chords, some music, when the musician connected, it's usually stuff. And I love it. So I was like, let's create it. I know some cats from New York. Jonathan Blake is a great friend of mine. Let's create it. Let's go there. Let's do it. And Adrian was a huge motivation because he wrote the two composition for this CD and I have my originals. So we put the stuff together, we arrange it a little bit, and I reach out to Jonathan Blake and he said to me, sis, I have Desmond Douglas on bass for you and I have Michael Rodriguez. And then I brought the young Alan Bartush and Adrian Varady, like it was like nice generation gap, like the old jazz music cats doing. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful, wonderful experience. It feels very, very, I felt home.
So talk to me about how you two got together and how this happened. How long have you guys been working together?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll say. Yeah, so we met actually her and I she kind of gave me a call one time because I was studying in this university where we are right now. And it was my second year and there was like an audition for a stage band. And she gave me a call for like a possible gig, some event. I said, okay, let's do it. And then prior to that, we actually met in person because she was having her own ensemble. So I kind of joined that part, and then you know we were playing the songs like Killer Joe and everything with the students. And at that time, I was already composing songs as well. I started to play the piano, gradually improving, and then she kind of there was this one moment where before the lesson started, she kind of sat inside the classroom and she heard that I was playing a specific chord progression. And that was actually for my song, which I didn't finish yet, titled The Witch. And then she came in, she was like, I like that, I like those chords, we should work together, let's make that possible. I was like, okay, let's do it. It was just a very small idea back then. So I was like, all right, let's work together, let's make something out of it. And in the end, it came out pretty impressive actually, how it worked out nicely. And yeah, after that we stayed in touch. We had some gigs going on. We became quickly very good colleagues, very good friends. And then I graduated, of course, and now I'm teaching here. So now we're really colleagues. And yeah, the rest is history. I followed up with the next song, which was a ballad titled Lonely Little Fox. And originally, I intended to write this song to Quincy Jones, who was my huge mentor, my musical father as well. And he was someone very close to my heart. And I kind of wrote this to him because he had a very traumatic life. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of suffering, poorness, and racism and whatnot. And you could say I wrote it for him, but at the same time, I wrote it for really anyone who went through a lot of things in life. And in a way, I kind of directed that towards him slash Maya slash pretty much anyone. And it's a very heartfelt, very emotional song. And so those two were, finalized after a few months, and then we decided to put that on the album. So yeah, and we're still in touch. We're currently working on some exciting projects that I will not share yet, but Yeah.
Right on. So, what are you hoping the listener gets from this album?
Honesty, life story, honesty, straight from my heart. There is no melodyne, there is not pretending or doing anything what is modern or trying to treat people on the trendy way. It's just purest honesty in my singing, music that I love. I grew up with jazz music, the chords that I love, the musician that I love. It's nothing about love and, intimate moments, some cinematographic pictures when I'm singing, very straight to my heart, very simple.
It's very personal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, was it always music for you? Take me back to the beginning. Did you always want to be a musician, or was there anything else on your collective horizons?
When I was little, I want to help animals. I want to be like animals doctor. But this doesn't work. But I still helping animals. I can do always in my life. But musician, I was growing up with the jazz records from my father. He is a jazz musician. So I grew up with the Blue Notes records, with Freddie Hubbard, Lee Morgan, Clifford Brown records, and Horace Silver, Art Blakey and Jazz Messengers. This is how I grew up, actually.
Yeah, yeah. How about you?
Uh, yeah, for me, it's funny. I always told myself that if the music doesn't work out for me, or at least the drumming doesn't work out for me, then I'll turn into a goalkeeper. I've been a huge fan of soccer, so for me, being a goalie was always a hobby of mine. But I decided at that point, God forbid if I ever injure my hands, let me switch to sports or something. But no, music was always part of me, and it's funny because if we're kind of sticking with the music itself in that category, like what I would be if I wasn't a drummer, actually, I was supposed to be a pianist originally because my dad was planning for me to be a pianist, and he bought me a keyboard when I was about 7 years old. And I played on it, I was like, okay, it's good. But, it had a lot of those sounds, a lot of like 150 plus sounds. And one of them was like alien sounds. And then I got to the drum sound and I was like, okay, I like that. So he was like, I'm gonna get your drum kit. So I got my first Blue Sparkle drum kit. And, I think the first record I heard was, yeah, I think it was also Blakey. What was it called? Resolutions? No. Reflections in Blue. Reflections
Reflections
in
in
Blue.
Blue, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. And after that, I was very early on exposed on the stage at like 9, I think I was 9 in Jazz Festival Frankfurt, and from then on it was just flying through every city, every country, So yeah.
So, take me back. I'm going to dig a little deeper into this. What was the first live jazz show you saw that blew you away? That may have laid the groundwork for the way that you approach the stage.
Ooh, that's a good question.
It was Jazz Festival in Belgrade, and I saw Phil Woods and Freddie Hubbard, Tom Harrell, Herbie Hancock, and I was like very young, and it was the whole atmosphere, all these musicians, all these magical, touching moments. It was clear after this jazz festival.
Yeah.
I met also Art Blakey with the Jazz Messenger with the last one, and I love it. And for me, I was like 15, so it was clear.
Wow.
It was clear
Yeah.
this is something I want to do.
Yeah. That's amazing. I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine at that age meeting somebody. I remember talking to Bobby Watson at one point being on tour in Europe, and he said that, Art had them by like 20 years.
Mm.
And he painted this visual of them in Germany walking through like the mist and fog at midnight to go to a disco to dance. And he said that they couldn't keep up with them. He was just
Oh
tearing it
man.
up. So
Damn.
he was the
Wow.
guy. He had the energy. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
how about you? What was the first show?
Oh man, if I remember, I think it's kind of connected to Quincy as well because
It was
I
part with
mean, I
Quincy
mean, I
Band,
mean, I
yeah.
guess, I guess you could say for me it was a little bit different because in one way, yes, I kind of, was watching how they played. It was a huge festival in Montreux Jazz Festival. This was the 47th anniversary, and Quincy's crew, we were all there because I was part of the Global Gumbo Band, which is something that he created with Claude Nobs. And this was a group of people, like a young group of people, like upcoming talents, which I think Jacob Collier later joined as well in that I think 2014. I was there 2012, so I was a little bit earlier there, but it was me, my brother on guitar, my father on bass, and I think the next group of people were like Alfredo Rodriguez on piano, Justin Coughlin on piano. Who else was it? Emily Beer, Nick Janowski, and alongside that, it was like a huge event. So, they got to play with bigger cats and stuff. So we got a chance to kind of perform with our own band, plus kind of like let's say a huger showcase with like I think it was Herbie Hancock was there, Chick Corea, Marcus Miller, massive names. And at that age, I was 12. I mean, I was always aware of who they were, of course, and I was like, "Oh, damn!" But when you're young, I guess you don't really take it in that
Yeah.
way. You don't really take it that seriously.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember that funny story that I keep telling everyone. I was in the backstage. Herbie's next to me, shaking my hands. Chico is on the other side. Quincy's there, and my mom is with me because I'm little. And they're like saying hi to me, hi man, how you doing? I'm like, damn, nice to meet you. And then I'm like, Mom, I need some food. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
My mind is on food. I'm like, I don't know who you are. Give me
Yeah.
some food.
Yeah.
And looking back at it now, I'm like, damn, like I was part of these like my biggest heroes actually, Herbie
Totally.
Hancock.
Yeah.
And that was one of my highlights that really set off everything in my career because not only that Quincy kind of commented on me on that video, which you can actually find on social media. It's a very heartfelt video where he talks about my drumming and everything, but also being able to play alongside singer like Patty Austin and
Yeah.
James Ingram. And I mean, this is if this is not the best way to showcase your career to like let it lead on, I don't know what is. That was it for me. And after that, it got easier and easier. Playing
Sure.
in America and everything. So that was it for me.
I remember I saw that documentary on Netflix on Quincy, and it's just amazing the amount
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people that he influenced and how we live in this cancel culture, and he's just been spotless. He has been the
Absolutely.
guy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah.
literally has been the one that just contributed to countless careers like your
Oh,
own.
man.
I
A
mean,
lot of a
you
lot of them.
you can't even count. So let me ask you this. What is it that gets you up every day to create, to be a part of this music, to push yourself, to evolve? What is that motivation, that love, that drive every day for you?
Very good question. And it's a voice in me telling me that I do a privileged things. I facing the war situations, I facing very bad situation in my life. And I notice how privileged things the people with doing this, how nice this is. And making something not only for my ego, not loving me and my music, loving the music for the higher best, giving healing with the music, making people happy, making people emotional, making people thinking. And it's also huge passion, huge passion. I'm over 50 and still the passion is huge. It's a huge love. You have to love this more as anything else. Everything what is coming out of love and believe it's make you stable and make you keep going. And also Sheila Jordan was my teacher, Andy Bay. I faced these people in my young age, how disciplined they are, how hard life they have, and still pushing and still positive. And this gave me a huge strength.
Yeah, uh, in many ways it's my answer is kind of similar to hers. Like, it's music is my life, but more importantly for me, it's more about because there was a time before, let's say I was on the professional stage where that wasn't really the case that I woke up, motivated. But again, going back to Quincy because he's very important in my life, in my career. I think this quote that he said about me, this comment, and more comments as well, this is something that no person in my life has ever told me. The way he spoke of me, because I know that when he says that, it felt very real. It felt very genuine. I don't think he would say that just like that. There's a meaning for it. If he says that it's gonna rain purple tomorrow, believe him. And he kind of his words on me, his mentorship, his love to me, and belief is really all that I needed to wake up every morning pushing harder than yesterday and the day before that, and even though it happened like more than 10 years ago, I think it's still something that keeps me going. You know, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I'll be here today. So
Yeah.
my whole, musicality, my dedication, my life's work, in a way, it's for me, but it's kind of like a huge thank you note for him, you
Yeah.
know. I hope to God that he's looking down on not only me, but also and also on every musician who's going on a good path, they would showcase their talent and their goodness of their heart, and they're showing their music, so that's my answer. Yeah.
So, especially in America right now, there's so much stress that's getting radiated out into the world
Yeah.
between immigration, between conflicts, quite frankly, somebody that over half of us didn't want ever back into the Oval Office.
Right,
It's a
right.
very weird time, and it's radiating out into all parts of the globe. Your corner, I'm sure. And I'm curious how much of giving people that escapism by getting on stage and performing music is a part of your mindset here in this modern era that we're living through. Do you think about that more now? The gift that you're going to give not only yourself and the bandmates, but also the crowd with giving them some level of comfort through live music?
Mm, that's a good question.
Mm, the music has a healing power. And there is a priest who one time told me when I sang in the church, he told me, when you pray, it's good, but when you sing, it's like 20 times praying, it's like very, you resonated with the cosmos much more. So I think when I sing something and when I put some improvisation on the humanity, about the people, about the peace, because I was facing all the political conflict in Kosovo and war because I'm coming from Kosovo. When I sing about it, it's waking up. It's a small part, but it's every artist has a huge power to say something, to do something, even if it's only believed that when you sing, it's going somewhere and somebody will gonna hear a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, You know, I agree with that. I mean, even if it's a personal story, that still maybe might actually resonate with someone else. Especially in today's world. I mean, you look at someone like Winter Marsalis, who, is very, very motivational person, motivational artist who speaks a lot of facts, and I'm sure he helped a lot of younger students as well, younger generation. And yes, with their talking, but more importantly, the music that they play, how they play. I think it shows that, and specifically jazz, I think it sh gives you a chance to kind of, I don't want to say escape from reality, to kind of look away from what's going on, but it's kind of like one of those situations where you might take a pause, at
Yeah,
least a little bit of a pause, and
sure.
you kind of go to this other room, which is like, you know what, let this give me some joy if everything else doesn't give me joy. Let at least this part give me some joy, some temporary joy, let's say, because music gives you that freedom. It gives you the freedom to really bring out your inner self, and it's beautiful because the people will not judge you. I at least would like to believe that in jazz, especially from my experience, I met a lot of cats, I met a lot of people, and I never experienced any of those people that they kind of had a negative thought about me or
Sure.
judgment, because they all supported how I played, and I'm sure a lot of audience as well. They really support how you sing, and they really
Mhm.
felt with you. So um, yeah, I think music is definitely the one way to like go at all of that, and channel all your energies to just enjoy freely, and yeah, you know.
So at the end of the day, why do you love this art form we call jazz?
Mm.
I didn't understand this one.
Can you repeat that one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, why do you love jazz?
Yeah.
I love jazz because it's free, it's a lifestyle, it's honest, it's allowed you to be who you are, it's allowed you to revolution or suffering in the same time. You have all shades of emotion you can put in, and it's allowed you to be creative. I love this creation and this freedom.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that was a good answer. I think there was one time I've seen this documentary of John Coltrane where I don't know who it was, but some important person. I think it was it might have been Winton or someone, or maybe Win Shorter, but someone said, you hear all these cats, they play jazz and they play blues and whatever. Coltrane plays life,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
And
I think I've
that's
heard
the way
that.
I want to see it. I think jazz is life. When you play pop, you'll hear, oh, she's playing pop or he's playing pop. Or when you hear hip hop, oh, they're playing hip hop. But when you hear jazz, I personally think it's like you're just seeing it live. Life can be bad, life can be good, life can be, difficult. It can be um, a lot of achievements, whatever, all those emotions, but that's jazz. It's life, balance. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And you'll hear that on the plane, of course. But um, I love jazz because of the freedom, of course. I love it because there's so much that will allow me to create without any limitations of like, oh, well, this is, there's no rules. There's no such thing as, oh, this is bad or that's bad.
Yeah.
That's not how it is. I hate rules. I'm very much against rules. And I think jazz is, I mean, you would agree with that, right? Like jazz is
It's a
anything.
lifestyle. For me, this is a lifestyle. This is all shades of freedom, all shades of creativity, the place where you can be yourself and, find yourself and be honest. For me, this is the honest music. I love also other musics, but, the jazz was my life.
I could have just said that jazz is good because it's swinging, but that would be a terrible
No,
answer.
that's a part of it. It's a part of the soup for sure. So, Blessed and Bewitched is the wonderful new album. If anybody wants to get a copy, where's the best place for them? I mean, it's streaming, but if anybody wants a copy, where should they go?
Origin Records homepage.
Yeah.
Origin Records.
Okay. And what about catching you live?
In Vienna, yes, I'm live in Vienna and around some jazz festival in Serbia, in Slovakia, in Vienna. So I'm gonna be on the February. I forgot the date. It will be the great show in the Vienna Red Salon, very fancy place. So it will be my CD representation. So I'm in Europe. Dreaming to come to US.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I'm always dreaming of getting back to Europe. I loved it over there, so I miss it a lot and love the way that jazz is received. So I will
Yeah.
put links in the show notes. It's so wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for
Likewise.
kicking
Thank you
the
so
year
much.
off. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Neon Jazz.